All right, welcome to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Jay Zavarella with Movement Mortgage, and I have Amy Balko from Remax Right Choice in Berlin. How are you, Amy?
Jason, woke up on the right side of the dirt today, so always grateful for
Awesome.
that. How are you?
Awesome. I'm good, thanks. So, welcome to the pod. I appreciate it. You were actually our first guest. And
Great.
just a little brief intro on Amy. Amy works for Remax Right Choice in Berlin. And, I want to bring on people that I've worked with, and not, it doesn't have to be people I work with, people that I know. But I've worked with Amy for a few years now. Trusted realtor, advocates for her clients, a great deal maker, does what's right and does a good job of it, both on the buy and list side as well. So, real quick before we get into you, this is on the top of my mind. The Thursday open house thing that I've actually seen successful and been a part of. Can you talk about that? Because I'll tell you, I've been to open houses before on a Saturday from noon to 3 or whatever, and 2 to 4, and everybody does them, and they could be super successful or they can be not successful. It just really depends on a lot of factors. But this Thursday thing that you've done, I think twice recently, insane. Like, 1 hour and over 100 people walking through the door. So tell us about that and what the strategy is there.
So in this business, there's not a lot of reinvention of the wheel, but there are tactics that a lot of people don't use. And I've learned that in this business, there's, a top 10% of agents. Those top 10% of agents will try new things and see what works. They'll try old things that haven't been used for a long time and see what works. But generally, 90% of agents just go with what other people are doing, and that's kind of the Saturday open house. I was brainstorming with my mentor, I don't know, maybe a year ago, and just out of nowhere she said, "Oh, in the Midwest they do, evening open houses. It's also popular in retirement communities. They'll do midday open houses." And I was like, "Well, why don't we try one?" So that was the birth of the Thursday night open house. The reason that we thought they would be powerful is we always use, or I shouldn't say always, but in the past 5 years have used a coming soon period with all of our listings. And from a perspective of, advertising, anything with an open house on it hits your algorithm first. So people searching for homes and the home that meets their criteria always are shown houses that have open houses attached to them first. So to try to be ahead of all the other Saturday open houses, we wanted to do something different. And our listing strategy, the last two that you're referring to, and you've been so good to come and host with me, we're on Thursdays, but we've done them different days of the week as well. But an evening open house is a quick hit. It gets your client's listing boosted in the algorithm. It's very interesting to the general population here in Connecticut because we don't see a lot of them. But it also, during these sports seasons, is giving parents
We
with
talked
kids
about that.
opportunities to come through while their kids are at practice or have a game. People who might be away for the upcoming weekend who know this market is moving fast, it gives them an opportunity to get in the house. We did a head count of our last Thursday open house, and of course we missed some people because it was insane. But we counted 180 bodies that came through the open house in 1 hour. And, that includes kids. We missed grandparents. We didn't sign in people who were there with their agents. And then there's people that snuck through. So 180 people coming through an open house. This was in my personal neighborhood where I live. And my neighbors definitely had comments about it. They're all very supportive and
I
very
bet.
kind. I know them all very well. So they're like, "Great job. Good for you. We couldn't get out of our driveway for 20 minutes."
Yeah, the
But
line of shoes was crazy. I
yes,
mean, you needed a bouncer
that's
at
my
the
new
door,
thing is to take
literally.
shoe pictures. Yeah.
It's wild. Yeah. So, I mean, and that ties into a question that I have as far as for you and for other agents. So, you started off. How many years ago have you? How long have you been doing real estate for?
7 years this month, but I was kind of born into real estate. So I've been practicing and selling real estate for 7 years.
Gotcha. Okay, and your family investors and investment properties and things like that. So I'm assuming
Correct.
that sparked an interest in the business for you. Gotcha. And then, so advice for yourself if you can go back 7 years that you know now, because you know a lot more now than you did in 2019,
Right.
right?
I sure do. So when I started, I made a deal with myself. I would say no to nothing for the first 2 years. I would
Yes,
change that advice knowing what I know
for
now. I'm
sure.
so grateful for
You got to
all of the
fire some people,
opportunities.
right?
Yeah,
You
right.
have to.
I'm really grateful for all the opportunities that philosophy brought to me and all of the experience. But I guess without the benefit of the experience, I'd probably do it the same way over again. And, I got in a little bit before the full COVID market and had a decent amount of experience under my belt. I'm so grateful for my mentor. My dad actually connected me to her. I did interview with 4 different brokerages and I came to Remax because of my mentor, but this brokerage is phenomenal as well. So I guess anybody who's looking to get into the business, do your research, talk to multiple different people, and go with your heart. This is a great business to be in. Your earning potential is unlimited, but your work ethic also determines what that earning potential will be.
Right, right, and that was, my other question. I don't even know if I said that, but a new agent, the advice you would give them, if it's somebody in their 20s that is not living at home and needs to use real estate for their main stream of income, probably they would probably need a second job to start off with, right? Would you say? I mean, it's a tough one to crack right off the bat
Yeah,
and make money.
I would say it's unrealistic to expect to make decent money in this business in at least the first year, possibly the first 2. So when I started, this is a second career for me. I had a previous career in corporate America before we had children, and then I stayed home for a few years. But my husband had, steady income, steady job. So that allowed me to really spread my wings and do what I needed to do to make this successful. But yes, I think multiple streams of income are what all millionaires have anyway. So if you are serious about being in real estate and you're in your 20s, get used to working your tail off and having multiple streams of income from day one.
Absolutely, and then back to I guess, sort of a not a humorous question, but what was your first ever job?
My first ever job. Well, it depends. So a lot of people don't know this about me, but I am a farm kid. So that means I grew up not a working farm, a small like backyard farm. We had horses and cows and chickens and rabbits and that kind of stuff. So
Which
my
you still
first
do.
I
Horses are a
still
big.
do. It's in my blood, and,
Yep,
to my husband's dismay at times when he sees the checks I have to write. But yes, horses, we still have horses, we still have chickens, we have Bunny, we have 2 dogs, we have all the critters. But, so my first job ever would be teaching riding lessons when I was, like, 13 to my sisters. So my sister and I have a 7-year age difference. I'm the oldest, she's the youngest. So when I was 13, I would teach a lot of her friends riding lessons on my horse, which was probably not legal looking back, but I didn't know. I was only
right,
13.
right.
But my first official job, I worked in retail, CVS in high school.
Gotcha,
Yep.
gotcha. Nice. That was what I expected, something like that, but
Yeah.
yeah. So, we covered that, and then we did the start in the business. Why did you get into we mentioned it was in your blood, but, like, what pushed you into real estate and out of corporate America? I mean, because corporate America's steady income, right? Was it
Corporate
just
America
corporate
is yeah.
BS, basically?
Yeah.
Is that yeah?
Yeah. So corporate America, at least from my perspective, is great from a benefits and pay perspective. They pay you a lot of money. And until you're outside of corporate America looking in, they know they pay you a lot of money and give you a lot of benefits, so they kind of abuse their staff a little bit. You always, at least for me, I always felt expendable. I always felt like any mistake could lead to, chop and block.
Sure.
However, I'm very grateful for all the learning opportunities and all the business acumen that I gained while I worked in corporate America. So the reason I left corporate America is because I worked for a cellular giant and I had 7 stores in a district. I live in central Connecticut. 1 store was in Connecticut, the other 6 were in Massachusetts. So when I had my first daughter, that was okay. But once I had my second daughter, I couldn't fathom being 3 hours away and having an emergency come up. I couldn't fathom working 60 hours a week while trying to be a present mother to both of my children. So I made the decision to be a stay-at-home mom after I had my second, but that was the hardest job I've ever had in my life.
Bouncing around from being a parent to doing the crazy work, and then you have a lot of employees under you where you're
Mhm.
only as good as them showing up and doing their job, and it's a different generation now, I think, with work ethic, and especially since 2020. I mean, if you're in that business now, a lot of people got used to everybody wants to be remote and not be forward facing, so that's a challenge
Correct.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. So,
Yep.
I decided to stay home. I had always been interested in real estate. I'd always, I grew up in what's called buy and hold real estate, where my family owns rental properties. So the maintenance part of that was just part of my life. We would go over and paint a house on a Saturday or mow a lawn, and that was something that I grew up with. So I had always been interested, but through my corporate tenure, I started learning more about the different avenues to pursue in real estate. And I saw a big opportunity for me. I was very intrigued and just decided I stayed home for 4 years, decided to get my real estate license and see what happened. I knew I could always go back to my previous corporate job or any corporate job. I had the credentials to do that, but I really wanted to give real estate a try. And I felt like that was the time that I had to do it. And I'm very glad I did.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you made the right decision because you're very successful. You do a really good job, and you fight for your clients to get the best deal. You're not, from what I can tell, you're not pushing them into properties that just for you to make a sale. You're battling for them to do to make the right decision and win deals. And that's it's a difficult process in this market. Getting offers accepted. It's not
Yeah.
easy, especially
No.
with the low inventory in Connecticut. One last question for you. When on a Friday night, when and if your phone stops ringing or getting texts, what drink or snack is Amy Balko going for? What's the okay? We can do
Oh,
both. We can do what drink or and you could if you don't want to go that route, you can say what drink do you need to get going during the day? Is it a coffee? Is it a Red Bull? Or what do you like on a Friday night when you put on a movie or a series or whatever?
all right, so I'll give you both. So in the morning, I'm very caffeine sensitive. If I have anything caffeinated after like noon, I don't sleep that day. So like one cup of coffee gets me going for like the entire day, and that's my routine. I wake up in the morning, I fix my coffee, I check emails, and I wake my kids up. So it's like my half hour of sacred time in the morning. Sometimes I'm working too during that time and doing paperwork if I fell behind. At night, when I need to unwind, I'm a margaritas and Doritos girl. Blue
Nice.
Cool Ranch Doritos are the only kind that there should be. But oh, I have a bag like right here. This is my new thing. The naked blue Cool Ranch
I
Doritos.
haven't seen those. I haven't
They're
seen those.
supposed
They're
to be
good.
healthier.
Yeah, yeah. We do the baked Cheetos and some of the baked Lay's, so I'll have to try that. But so margarita and Cool Ranch Doritos. Well, that
The
is what
breakfast or dinner of
I love
champions.
it. It's awesome. That's awesome. So thank you so much, Amy. So actually plug away. Obviously, you don't have to plug properties or anything like that, but tell us your social media, your where they people can find you or Google reviews or anything you want to tell us to, plug your business.
Yeah, so you can find me on Google, just Amy Balko Realtor. You can find me on Facebook, Amy Balko Realtor, Instagram at amy.balko, or on LinkedIn, Amy Balko Realtor as well. My office is in Berlin, but I operate, pretty much anywhere in the state. If I'm not comfortable operating there, I'll definitely let you know, but always looking to help people find a home or
And
find their
and and
next step in their
anybody
house journey.
anybody 2 hours away in Connecticut, you can refer probably out to someone else too, right?
Correct.
For
One of the
for help.
benefits of Remax. We're one of the
Yeah.
business biggest in the world. So,
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amy. Have a great day. I appreciate you coming on and we'll be talking soon.
all
Take
right, talk
care.
soon, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you.